political interference. Just say among Jano mani nye juma no send your person or ye no as a sort for no ministers ne political figures no interfere with juma na or ye mu enuti or resign. In 2022 and na ye ma your current special prosecutor ora kisi ejabin ye ma ono so e ba ye se ono ene ye special prosecutor. Na no na what mu ya na ode betu dwa se ono de nye political interference na mom judicial interference say judges ne court obre no ho ade asam ne court a na che say o ma ya asam no say o ma ya asam ne basa into no in essence no o mu frustrate the effort na ode ekon eye corruption no na secretary she no e wo man Ghana mu ene what the hot city so no ye di sa ensam no ho enkomo special prosecutor no asam no kan engineer so bi e wo ho and also because he was just playing to the gallery and I said person public sympathy bi enunti na okasa fi say juma na e de man no e bia na ne peto otumi ye no ontimi enyeye internet me guest e wo the hot city so no ye one na sabi omo no mo ye crusaders against corruption omo no mo chi corruption e te bia corruption obi omo ko hwehwia na mo de abetudwa na ye di ho enkomo na ye ni omo chief crusader enene ye nya no hot city so ye no edin nkita ho Ora Emmanuel Wilson mate say junior ka ho nti ora Emmanuel Wilson junior enene me no edin kita ho aye special prosecutor ne press conference no ye wie no obeka safa ho wa show articles law articles bi am read that say on special prosecutor no ensam no ebo ebura kaka nti na ye no Asian punimpu ene edin kita ho e what the hot seat so good afternoon sir.
Good afternoon Minyaba.
I mean, Matisa Wokasa.
Yes.
If I had the press conference, no. Obi Bekasa, me say, listen to the man. I felt the frustrations. I want a demeanor. Then the voice across it. We are getting to the doom days. There's doom ahead of us in the fight against corruption. Ochemwa, just a court no M1. And we know that the major cases recently, or they are to Jaya La Bianca case, no, and Madame Cecilia Dapa case no enti no te say court na mo no
me da say
o tell ni after the first major press conference awaye ni since oba office and awaye be me I think the major one o tell press conference what was your initial remark?
My initial remark exactly the okan say na opese or achieve a particular aim which is to get the sympathy of the public,
right?
Inti me na monsieur papa we adeoye na just one intention opeso move the fight against corruption now into the court of public opinion, right? Opese of court the sympathy of the populace and I clearly see the okay and quite a lot of people fell for it, right? Because ocean it didn't mean that is opeso cry soon. Everything shows I said then why you overwhelmed. But you see, even though that was my initial way saying, Mesriye, is simply because you see, when you are fighting corruption fights, and yet sympathy near the fight corruption. Corruption fights, and yet emotions near the fight corruption.
Right.
Corruption fights, and fight a court of public opinion. Corruption fight and yet the number of uncrofua omubisum ombeka so obubuefu et say corruption ade corruption and yet no near the fight corruption. The fight corruption in a democratic country like Ghana imbra.
Right.
Imbra any institutions and the fight corruption. Into sa ocean as a corruption fight no enya dia e course year it is all checking your mammy no wombra the fight corruption. Any institutions are the fight corruption. And no net is here. So umbrano wronger. A man sign bit to me soon said then corruption fights not to me fight.
Right.
So umbrano a wronger. No matter what obey you bit me soon a demonstration I am why corruption fights into me fight. And no wonder over these past years every indice is a BPR HS the fight against corruption. We are losing it.
We are losing it, right?
You understand? It means the fundamentals, there's some problems there.
Okay, it's for now. Can say the fundamentals or the law, no. Actually, the Special Prosecutors Act 2017. when the act was passed, some of us thought, say, the special prosecutor, no total power. So the Beye Juma. Do you think that we should review that act?
That's it. Indeed, that is the very first thing we have to look at. You created the special prosecutor's office with an intention, say, you bring an independent prosecutor. Question that is a special prosecutor's office, no, independent and independent. You understand?
Right.
Into these are the questions that you say you find it out, devoid of emotions. Question here: Special Prosecutors Act, no, act na a man to me, no. Act na nkasa, does it mandate him to be independent? Answer
no. Right.
Into why then do you create an office, creating the impression say it is so you need independently? And yet, no powers are not to me at the man no interest or you're independent. It means that we are pretending to be fighting corruption in Ghana, but in reality, we are not fighting it. Okay, Article 88 of the 1992 Constitution.
Right.
It gives the prosecutorial powers strictly to the Attorney General. Attorney General no one who can say obe sublet some of these powers to any entity. What it means is a special prosecutor or an investigation we no person prosecuting. Now Attorney General can me ma okwanya.
It's inclusive, right.
Then the issue is, so are we really getting value for money from the special prosecutor's office are you creating? But from all indication, we are not getting value for money from it. Okay, BB, which was so interesting. Martin Amidu, Martin Amidu, obey a special prosecutor. Or resigning here on 2 grounds. Bako or say lack of resources. Second one, or say political interference. And totally different from the frustrations Kise Jabin catching.
What's the difference?
Kise Jabin the only thing that is common is lack of resources. Lack of resources, and no remember what later. But the second one is difference, a difference woman say. Martinami do say political interference, specifically the presidency.
Right.
He said Jabe anchors political interference.
No.
Or see judicial frustration. Totally different. Judicial frustration. Oko judiciary and alcohol court. Judges making decisions based on 2 questions. 1, question of law. 2, question of fact. Oko quarter, judge and making decision based on sentiment and emotions.
Emotions, right?
No. And yes, sympathy and a judge and they make a decision. And one thing that sometimes people say, oh, lawyers, they are almost liars. It is just because they don't understand the legal process. So why say me they now cover bad lawyer? Why say no? A bad. What you say? Don't blame no Emma judge. And now blame no Emma court. Matters of law, matters of facts. Facts ni say why investigation ni we are winning evidence ni ade. Now they are called to buttress or claim. Law ni say embra e wo ho no. So we this so and I will this so. La Bianca case, in fact, I mentioned saying Cecilia Dapa, Cecilia Dapa case. You na ye suspected.
Right.
Said there is some act of
corruption.
We all, me I'm suspecting. And until now, your bone saying say investigation should take place.
Right.
Investigation taking place. Mr. Oshe, Special Prosecutors Act 959. Oshe Section 38. A mandate and a special prosecutor need to me. Say, obey to me a season and break one or your investigation. The same 38 no goes further to say, who season we are within 14 days for court. Na koji to me to cover Niamana we season. We season Niamano. Uye what nasi ayeshe haya ma 14 days no.
I lapse it.
The claimant in this case, because the special prosecutor called Cecilia Dapa and the lawyers.
Right.
Who said no, we breach it in Brano. Into the call court. The call court no so in Brano are very clear, so we breaching.
So you don't turn around and blame the judge.
Are you getting the point? Judge in the in Brano Gina so the Nejuma. Into what special prosecutor, whether deliberate or ignorantly, who fail to adhere to Wawumbra a guide.
yes, now say I am in one because I know say the special prosecutor Oraki Sejaben, yes, so I am a very astute lawyer, which means only membrano. So Obi say, why would then the man know because say I will breach the same laws I'm working with.
In fact,
and turn around and come and blame the judiciary.
Beautiful. So that question I'll be saying, Embra me share a press conference. Of course, MC Media Pen I invite you on. Bank I invited CSO. This was one of the questions and can be bisa.
Right.
Because ono netiso to me answers such question. But unfortunately, questions a fee. Some of the media houses are calling. Who said they all fell for the emotional part of it.
Not why I am
no, I mean, who does that? You tell Okabe, you do a result. Oh, lament why I'm Kunamumbroswana. Is that what we want?
No, but what mean downplay? Cross that there's not some sort of frustration.
I agree perfectly. There are some sort of frustrations.
Right.
Look, fighting corruption, Wagana ha. Even young cry, yes, cry. Frustrations are you go through. No. You have no idea.
Right.
Not to talk of state institutions. Frustrations were hot. But say, back out about the catch rain for us to support you. And they be bold and tell us the exact frustrations.
Right.
But so now be catch and say frustration in the judiciary. And break everything shows say judiciary no one kasa who create procedural lapses. Ama judiciary no ebu 8 hours. Then it becomes difficult for us to sympathize with it.
We see. I mean, recent surveys about the judiciary, as the public trust in the judiciary,
yes.
I mean, yes. So many surveys have.
Yes.
So, now before say what he's saying, there will be some truth.
And then I make a just say, well, he was a bit smart. The average Ghanaian, he loses trust in judiciary.
Right.
Even me cramity, I have my own issues.
Which is very dangerous.
No, very, very, extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous. You lose trust in the judiciary. But you see, the fact that you lose trust in the judiciary doesn't also mean that you run away from your weaknesses and come and hide behind the trust that you lose. For you to say, oh, in Crawford, lose trust in the judiciary. Because knowing very well, say already they have problems with the judiciary. The judiciary frustrating. They will not probe and ask the salient questions. And when some frustrating special prosecutor. And as I said, to a large extent, he got a lot of people to fall for that.
Right.
Labianca case. Some of my judgments Tuesday came yesterday. Look, reports or publish a report on this Labianca case as far back as August 2022, specifically 8th of August. No copy of the report.
Right.
And not publish it. We read the content of the report. And you'll be never catch us a report no was hollow. Really? Indeed, when you Google some media houses publish comments are making. And that is the same thing. Almost a year on or a little over a year. Court has vindicated my position. Special prosecutor former Martina Midu, it took the same position that I had. I mean, we shared the same position. Later, Crown Prince said, and also making the same comments I making
about the Labianca case.
The same thing as far back as August 2022. You preempted the ABC. And I'm parcel. That is what has happened. We share the act now. Act no talks about special prosecutor publishing act of corruption. Say, or to me to publish act of corruption. Question here: why they determine what is an act of corruption?
Right.
It is the court. Special prosecutors' duty is say, obey investigating. Or investigating, we are not the Adiana court. Or the court not based on the law, based on the facts, you book at the manner. And now you make judgments because a special prosecutor, someone can hamper, a similar now maintain, while committing act of corruption. Then you go ahead to publish it. This is in the act. There's a difference between act of corruption and alleged act of corruption. Suspected act of corruption. In fact, your criminal cases are your Ghana had no say. Say you got to say obi issue to obi cry. You suspect. It is only the court of competent jurisdiction and it to me declare. When inside the way, and yet last year August you went ahead to publish
a report. In the report, no, we indicted these individuals and say some committee act of corruption. Since when? And now you have a mandate to declare someone say corrupt.
Is it not then that the acts of the Special Prosecutor 2017, any year loss, no? I mean, there are some not understanding being him, and as Obina also said, no, let me take this path.
You see, there's one thing that Matinami do kaya and say no resign. And a lot of people arguing Akosua. Or say on Tinase, Emma political interferences in use no any office no as a tool to intimidate people.
People, right?
Are you getting it? That is what Matinami do, and it's one thing, a key thing that a lot of people arguing embassy. You don't create an entity to fight corruption. Now, at the end of the day, Obe use that entity to intimidate people.
Your people.
As long as we are practicing democracy, you are practicing rule of law. Even criminals, convicts, they have some right to some extent. Are you getting it? And we must be very careful. Say you use law no, to abuse people. And I use law no, to intimidate people. And I use law no, to tarnish the images of people. I say you're very careful on that. And yes, I need the sentiment, any emotions, efra, and then the next day, another person. And to court say, now if I don't alcohol court, now some of the individuals mentioned in it, Kenel Damwa, and then I think one other. Omo de Adieko court. No mo kasi, omo arguments me say court. Special prosecutor is arrogating powers unto himself. Powers are
right.
Now court no SSC no hwe. Now we went to make it defense. At the point the oye. Now court no hwe no hwe. Okay, the law as it is no. And this can publish it, something like that, because who needs 2 minutes to declare. In any case, SAR report no so kind very well. It is actually not a conclusive investigation.
As a surface investigation.
Like surface investigation, be African interim, that's the word I'm looking for. Like interim investigation.
So there was no need to even publish it.
Publish it. Interim investigation, no way interim. When your evidence near there, court.
Maybe he's accountable to the citizenry, to know or every step he takes, he wants us to.
But you see, we are accountable to the citizenry, making sure say you do the accountability within the confines of the law.
Right.
That is all you do. One year is at the end of the day, no, who creating more problem am I? Now me say me cut taxpayers.
Right.
Because share asema in Crawford court Tuesday, you put here special prosecutor. You fining no an amount of 10,000. 10,000 Ghana cedis are fining, whether it is small or it is big. That money, no, any idea it be feel in the pocket.
Coming from
you understand? Right. It's coming from the state. Who contributes to the state? Me no. Oh, patch me says 10,000. And the whole and you come and you no more voter and so form here. Engage me bomb.
Right.
And yet it is the taxpayer who is going to suffer as a result of someone's negligence. Look, Matinami do said something. And these are the things that we dispassionately we should be assessing, indeed, if we want to fight corruption. Matinami do kabibi. Or say one of the political interferences, no. The fact say president and some executives, and the pressure to say a particular case, Fako court, particular case, Fako court. Or no Matinami do say, look, and some media say me be court.
I say me a thorough investigation.
I say me a thorough investigation. And yes, OD can call court and not just wait the bill.
Right.
You must go to court based on facts. You don't rush to court for no reason.
Are you by this saying, sir, you collapse this office, then we come back to the normal laws now, because there are laws in our constitution that fight corruption. So you should come back to our normal laws.
You see?
Because now, okay, they have set the office of the white elephant to be native.
Asema yedi kankai and son akra and son establishes our office. And bra yenya sa asutiese aban person establishment. Asema kind says all fight corruption and yet the number of anti-corruption institutions are war. And a bet is all fight corruption. And yet the effectiveness of it. In Tibet jurisdiction, be a jurisdiction or just one anti-corruption institution. So you're very effective. Will be more result more than another institution jurisdiction or be say 5, 6, 7 anti-corruption institutions are more effective. And then special prosecutors and the resources in here. And then Attorney General said the resources in here. Iyoku resources in here. Shraj resources in here. CID. Udi Asemco police are one gas one fat taxi and you mechia and ya don't omeka just omunika kra resources in here. All these anti-corruption institutions, they are complaining. So if they are complaining now, today, the special prosecutor as an entity. Shraj as an entity. Now me cry 10 cities mecha mo 5 cities. Ebi so ananka ebi 7 cities no mo here. And so 10 cities I'm going to match among 5 cities. At the end of the day, they will not be able to perform.
Right.
At the end, and a special prosecutor's office. After all, at the end of the day, it is or seeking permission from Attorney General as well prosecuting. Why can't we collapse that office and make it a department
under the Attorney General? It makes sense.
Are you getting it?
It makes sense.
You know, a department and Attorney General. What it means is say 10 cities, I'll bet you 5 cities, no. What the 10 cities mean now? One institution. You are resourcing that institution to fight corruption. And it becomes difficult for anyone to still convince me, say, special prosecutor's office, no. You know, we still need to have it as it is. After all, look, I'm going to some fighting corruption. If you tell me you're setting RBCN, you quantify in terms of percentage or whatever. Corruption, and me contributing. You bet me both the yakasi, you're setting up special prosecutor's office, you reduce corruption in Ghana. Because any institution you set up, no, you set it up with the intention to have results. The intention only set it up is to get results.
Right.
It is at the end of the day, say only result to be not every month otuamoka, otua for utilities and yet only returns be. Then what kind of business person is he? And that is the posture we don't take into the government sector. Government sector, you believe we say, see can you feel your pocket in by Obi a bit me I your pay. Look, Ebra Kisie Jabin ebe press conference. Some of the questions that we raised, the questions are not me expecting saying baby son, but it looks like most of the people were sympathizing and ebi cry no money to the same I mean, but that wasn't it. Governance is a serious business,
right.
Very, very serious business,
right.
Because it involves human lives. A very serious business. Look, now can me show him say, Oba your president, some pastor or person or engage public. What he should have done is to tell us, look, Ampa, media court, Nyamin Chade, a high court and a ruling against me. And I almost the make court, high court and a ruling against me. But I think say they erred on the question of fact and then the question of law.
To make appeal court. That is my next question. Of all his cases now, they cannot you bogu court, high court. Yeah. You who say we court the next court. Or to me so bet me determine as a challenge court no.
It simply means on one who said judgment are your or because a good case, judges can err, and that is the reason why in Brandon applying for
appealing. Yeah.
And if the judge you believe, say, oh, after all, in Ghana Haniete, you cases are you rule at first instance against one party, a party now appeal over. It happens every day. And what prevents Kisi Ijabin from doing that? That is the question. Some of the questions are not expected.
Say, media as a media, you're falling for.
We're falling for the emotion. That is what happened. We're falling for the emotion. 100%.
Because me, after the press conference, yes. I went back to check, say, of all the cases, at least I know of 5 major cases are all dealing with. And out of the 5, you know, which the 2 now very popular. And I say, I create public interest. You know, this Labianca, Cecilia. So I was checking, said, I checked with our court correspondent, say, so, or Lusu, this high court. Or call appeal court, no, so no one call appeal court. So I want not me to say be per the act no, untimin kwa appeal. Then I realize it's just like any court case. Of course, you are not satisfied. Or call the next stage of the court to fall appeal.
That's it. It's a question here.
Why did now one call for appeal?
You come and you are complaining, and I mean brace one. Do
you think that you should resign?
Look,
so I feel say because me what I saw no, I said you know. So why you're frustrated? So cause you're frustrated now. Do you think that you should resign, or you think we should collapse the special prosecutor?
The best way for us is to collapse it and fold it into any of the other existing. Preferably, in Kayan Fankoshe Attorney General as a department.
Now when raising these issues, when the act was in, the bill was in Parliament,
it is not even about the bill. Me say, answer that year setting up the Special Prosecutor's Office. That was our position. But you see them, I had to say Ghana had majority, the majority believes in emotions and sentiments. Into issues bar, to mean detaching emotions. From you're Special Prosecutor's Office because you're say fighting corruption. We don't like corruption. You're say fighting corruption. You say Special Prosecutor's Office, but we are embracing it. Into no one is analyzing it. And that is it. Into said not even the Special Prosecutor's Office, but that is the general posture of majority of Ghanaians. That is why you can have politicians coming to convince the populace on purely lying grounds. And so because of emotions, then say we disappoint.
I was for a short break there by Mr. Wilson so high and nobody just say how then do we fight do we fight against corruption? And I said we should raise up our hands in the air. In any case, former President Akosua Asabea said even what damn so crown na corruption day. Enjoy kwana. You try on your brasses here.
Mene kwaku owusu ajay pato abrasamadu katawire woso brobo mensa kwaku abridi abrada sumaya echimpani echimofra ere agene be kasa problem e wo nyina ne say yetimi wo say problem wo manum na ye problems ne nkofo de ye business enti da bia kwan on person ye ne say on person problems ne ka ho me mo adwe nya o say ye betena be kekansam e be ma otirimu aye ode de hia be bo my Ghana ho nkomo ene e ba be die ya be obi aba no aba be kan de obi aba no aba be kan de ere de yes a de be ni bio ye ni abede ye be kan se de sitie bia ama what de se de sitie me kra de mi nanka de send the bluetooth bia ma obroni be say no matter whose ox is god ye be kan go asem de be de every area no me no kopun se be bono ntia agene kasa on original 91.9 FM I ain't fi
Musa emramu sa woyamfum so oto abanmra na sa prosifu ochewa itwasa wodamu aboro sukra na anu na anu na chi no se yama obela e wasa prosifu de kogina court na court e hyese bia yama obel ebiem wonum sa emramu no nso obi huna bia wonye prosini anya hwe enitim so butumi ache wodu wasie keke na so obi ya wasa bia wonum sa emramu no e wasa ye wi a nipa ko no e compensate wana emfie be na wodi atumi twon wo Memma nkwa na say will ja omo yire no mma na so bi su twon will no so a ebrebe na will be aduma why na de will ni kosi na yire anane ma anasa lawyer for sensem we nyina mu hunu enne nkyire mu anti ana original tv adijuma de friend say emnansem aba chiame lawyer twimbarema ife da be eni fe da biara enne no nan ekopum no nu adijuma de eso
Penisi enye dantane danta nemum dantane disikabano we adwumaku ankrankra anasa ban aya Asabea ensorensore dwumadi bia wudie na pesa amansa te wo kano enye babia na woto wajatonde a amansan ebetie yeto nsafro sefa tuma bebo ye dia no original tv and original fm ye yabo kwaku a ofa yonko akotokoro enkasroda bra nebeso ye hwe na be hu se yegya na no ye nnam yeto nsafro se bre na ye nto adwatonde ma enhyeta magana mpana nyina ehu dwumadi a wudie wo hwe akira kwan a ye wo no fridge ye ben Lisa hotel ubetimi afre ahoman yiso 0302 986130 original tv original fm so kan ya fasi ya kudo so na nhire mama nsanyina ehu
Ora Emmanuel Wilson Jr. Me guest for the hot seat so or chief crusader edema ekobi a friend no anti corruption crusaders omo I mean enye kwa ensha banase ye kan say so omo no omo ekasa omo ka eku ahodo a ekasa etia kasa ketatehye ene proye ewo oman Ghana mu na ye din nkita ho anate din komo e de afa ketatehye ewo oman Ghana mu e de ne be ye betimi e de fight no ne enim say the creation of the special prosecutors office no e betimi abe fight so far the two chief obi kan say corruption fighters no as omapaba they are throwing their airs in the air say ba ko say oh political interference me ni academy di adwuma okoye ne wa ben so na sentem the first major interaction with the Ghanaian populace ne che say ono kwa the court no empu na be mu che say otumi bre resources ni ho academy ni ho na wo motete o mu widie mu ekoye investigation ya no mo de court pe na court asa eja omo de ayede ahwefo me ntase ekono ayedin asamba ko kan say we are heading towards the days of doom in the fight against corruption. If the chief fighter ebeka say chen then e betimi any akatene no ene ora Wilson edin kita home e de afa ho. So question again, fight against corruption yenjai
baby jai de ma yenjai cry. In fact the fact say would drive a car na say be car nya accident na ekum microphone doesn't mean say be jai car driving. What it means is say you find it out identity na car they be a kwan e create accidents. Say kwan no na nya me enhwe say dey be fix kwan. Say your cars no so na e be a cars a ye dey ba oman mu ha no e be a cars no nye good a eno so yenhwe say dey be. Say your tires no kra na enye so a yenhwe say dey be na fa. Inti say ye be jai corruption fight there dey be na ye jai. The ti say ye ne say dey make can dey bia no. Yen fa ye ni enko niema mienu so.
Right.
First one ye institutions fight corruption. The thought will be the laws are say fight corruption. Yen share institutions whether the institutions are structured enough to fight corruption. Yen share very well say laws no laws are say fight corruption ye and say fight corruption ye. Yen stop say ye create quasi laws and quasi institutions. E overlap into ne we ko ha or say no we jurisdiction and say we ko ha we say any we jurisdiction and say we ko you say only that 2 minutes to do it. We ko say 2 minutes. Those are quasi institutions and laws. Special Prosecutors Act, for instance. We share the functions of the special prosecutor. It share and say one of the functions is to prevent corruption. Prevent corruption simply means say and crimes and identity based. It's all we prevent it. The time I established a special prosecutor's office, how many times and a special prosecutor are you be a justice or prevent corruption? Ni na ye the reactive approach. Or try am DNC about public domain now.
May take you over.
Are you getting it? And that is not how we fight corruption. You're fighting corruption by preventing it. And a typical example of how we can do that. The public, the code of conduct for public officers.
Officers, right.
This is an actor. Attorney General, IEBBIA, everything. Akwa cabinet. For God knows, over 2 years or so. Just past this act, nothing has been done.
So we know, sir, because in this institution, meaning as a worker, I don't have to do this.
Exactly.
To the moment I don't have even come to the office because there are consequences.
Consequences. Until at the end of the day, OSHA Public Code of Conduct Act, and as I say, a bill, and Act. There's a content of it, share offices like special prosecutor and warding. So be making sure say, be a public officer. Ebe declaring assets. Obi be your public officer. Lifestyle measures any other. Into say me share na say okay, ora Emmanuel was sansa na oba abe mu no. Na bia okra ka baako. Oba abe mu 2-3 days pe no. Okra ka miensa na 9. That code there's a provisional institutions need to probe. Me den na menya sa sika any all that. Eya den na bisi ene.
You haven't even heard anyone like the special prosecutor talking about the fact that a person preventing corruption. Now, or the pressure to abide to say, we'll make sure
so that's way per person. Okay, so on the press conference, so can be say or collaborating with the other institutions so that they will investigate, persons or employees on government payrolls and then the banks. And no,
you see, the difficulty with the special prosecutor, I said, Osuso. Niamano, Okososo Kakano, Asohano, and I feel say, or play to the gallery of the public. Into a train or should be a public, you know. And you was no Akosum. Okosum on Tonebo and investigations. Look at the number of cases every now and then special prosecutor catch and say Okosum.
Right, because for now, no, or say about 120 cases.
So it is the investigation that matters. Look, sa payroll idea okay. Say me pass me wo institution bia me nim say me ye be a double salary or whatever. Now me say special prosecutor.
That was the argument in the newsroom. So why do you have to come and
announce it?
Because yes. Now I'll put myself in order. Yes. I'll start checking everything so that
why will you even want to do that? It defeats the purpose. I get it.
That was the conversation at the newsroom.
At the end of the day, no, you are just playing to the gallery. Like, oh, Kabibia, Amansan will hail you. But that is not what we want in fighting corruption. Akwa say, we are police, me police. Now, you have to say there's a crime being committed. They be a womujanshe so. Now there's a 10 meters and now 20 meters away. Near a far siren and I say a far announcement. Near hey, police for yeah go. How you getting it? And that is the issue that the special prosecutor seems not to be appreciated. Into your institutions,
right?
Your laws, Now me de be laws are my number one problem with us fighting corruption. The reason why you into me fighting corruption. 92 Constitution.
Right.
92 Constitution, and no the Supremo, eba in Ghana. The 92 Constitution, nankasa, a backbone for corruption in this country. Because you see, Constitution was created as a political constitution.
Right.
Into a creative constitution to protect politicians.
The politicians. Into living a purpose.
Exactly.
Outliving
its purpose. Look, and now you know, kasi, you say everyone is equal before the law, and you know, correct.
True.
When you're a politician now commit a certain crime, the treatment is totally different. It's totally different. And you have an individual, some gentleman be raising allegation of corruption and corruption-related matters against the two then former chief of staffs, as in Sone, the other guy. A call CID office. Odu Ambetoja, na CID head. Any complainant, a complainant, my young stop case because he investigates here. It will be a dent on the party. I mean, who does that? It is just because the structures favors politicians. The other thing about the constitution is that so we fight corruption in any jurisdiction. You don't centralize power. Any jurisdiction a centralization of power. Corruption fight is difficult. Ghana the constitution centralizes power. To me, I work Ghana the executive headed by the president. It is the president who appoints and disappoints at will. And now I know because the president makes me finding a way of taking away Kisei Jabin. Or makes me finding a way of taking away the Yoko boss.
It happened to Dom
Levo. Are you getting it? And so if the president has these powers, all you need to do is to ensure that your allegiance is towards the president. And everything about corruption.
You are fine.
You are fine to go. Until say a person fighting corruption, but I mean, can't say Ghana have your issue is say you pretending to be fighting corruption. But in reality, we are not fighting corruption because our institutions, our laws, all gears up to encourage corruption in this country. It's when you see, say, oh, your laws, your umbrella, your institutions, why, we should detach the emotions from it. Now you're analyzing it very well. 92 Constitution, it cannot fight corruption. It cannot. It is some party a fighting corruption. You review your 92 Constitution. The interesting thing about this review of the 92 Constitution, Embra Yira Atamils the late, Otiso, and formed that committee to review the Constitution. Omo report by. The truth of the matter is, after the report was brought, Nyamin Chade, it was the same Atamils party and they take it over. There wasn't any mention of the report. And Omufiso. Nyamin Chade, Yemfani say a new party aba, Ebia Sebi, ono the Odrin Ghana.
Still.
7 years getting into the 8 years of Akufo-Addo as a president. Nipa yena we were made to believe so no they believe in the law any other.
And why fight against corruption?
Fight against corruption. Adentina basine to me can be about constitutional review here. Yes, simply because on himself so the powers they are enjoying, so better.
So it confirms what because it's a cliche. It's a politicians that it favors them. No,
and it's just a cliche. Say favor moi, and at the end, and say, "Yen the taxpayers." No, yen I suffer at the end of the day. And I give you again example of this 10,000 assembly I'm making. Bank, it is a court to Asasike Edema Court. And yes, it can be free Akufo-Addo bottom. And yes, it can be free Attorney General bottom. And yes, it can be free Kise Jabin bottom. And yes, it can. When me, you could tons you, na you tax, health insurance tax, levy. See, can't say the core health now. And Nubi. Okay, health insurance more sick and sick at the at the end of the day, sick can be just and come hospital. Yeah, the best no. Hospital is a health insurance. And are you getting it? This is how the governance is intertwined.
It is what now can say you are unconcerned. It affects you. Even trickle down to the lowest person in the country. Because
it affects your move. And you may know down to the lowest because it be a sebi. Health insurance as somebody use as example. Sebi. It be where you and I sit. We may not even need a card.
Right.
But if you need a relative, look, people who die in this country because if you say we need 10 cities, 20 cities to buy medicine. And yet you have health insurance near and bra health insurance as a mobile levy by I'm say 4 times so me every day near me to be a levy one. So about somewhere last 2 years. And I'm a Koje card. Now I needed it for something. Me Koje card maybe. I've used it just once. Into my entire life from before time you introduce you at the metia every now and then and yet once. And so here near Mano Crampono, hospital. Yes, it's coming. It is just because of things like this.
And pay attention to what we need.
Exactly.
I was a bit unsure, so almost change the outcome of the FBI report on what the then they know to determine the Sisiada package because almost need it who say there's some money laundry issue be as part of the case, you know. And I don't know what do you make of that?
Why? Why should we even wait for FBI?
That's what that is worse.
You know, I didn't just say a trend for FBI report. I thought yes, a special prosecutor's office not to say independent. Now it is even struggling to be independent from institutions in Ghana. They say that we are even taking it to Amanoni, FBI.
No, but your capacity not to determine whether there's money laundering issue be in the case or not.
Why don't we? But if we are a country now, we don't have that capacity to do this kind of investigation, money laundering investigation. Ghana haven't we convicted a lot of people on the ground of money laundering? You're trying for FBI report and whichever way, I don't know any investigation. He may know something that we don't.
Right.
You're granting it that. But you see, Cecilia Dapa's case, for instance, it is not just about the money laundering. There are other issues around it. So other issues. Now, what are you trying for money laundering? What is happening to other issues? The frustration, enemy, me fear, is that with the press conference or he's already preparing the minds of Ghanaians for things that may come.
It said next time, ebe to just say, oh, Cecilia, the park case ne kra ya kwete no.
Say court be catch them. Media Maya media back.
Are you getting it?
So by this, he's also denting the image of the judicial system in this country. And then or mawana need trust in the judiciary, more power not to have the trust in it. And that's very dangerous for democracy.
Because already we don't have trust in the judiciary. That one, I can tell you on authority. And you know.
Or make it, I'll say very soon, a murderer can walk into the courts.
How?
And a judge can.
How?
And that was
practically, how can
dangerous.
you, even for you to even say such a thing, as a lawyer, how can you say such a thing?
No, say back a corner.
How?
Or like into the future.
Mami ma one case, but not me share case needing, but I couldn't get it. It happened under Akosua. You say Akosua time, no, not the issue of cocaine was so much,
so high, yeah.
Internet, I think said they were trying to save their image. In terms of normal the pressure to investigative bodies to use anyone as a scapegoat. There was this gentleman, police for arresting. Arresting and say cocaine on a car. In some they no call courts and all that. A very national issue. Because as I said, the cocaine issue was high. Until they did the family trial. At the end of the day, Onipakono was acquitted and discharged. Why? Because investigation no meant to improve say cocaine here.
Onipakono.
But they were in a rush to go to court. The fact so who bibi me calm doesn't mean say media. Maybe cry have no knowledge of it. Obi na plant here. Some person who sampa me engage in you can say cocaine and drugs are ube tracy. That is how investigation is done. Into be tracy, okay, me who say Emmanuel was in Asabea, omo endra no mo can be about drugs. Okay, my mean ben omo. Na me say okay, me who say we exchange drug my way. Me who say we num druggy. Me who say we yes. Then you get enough evidence. But the fact out is say many Asabea can be about drugs no pam or they make court. It won't work that way.
Corruption under this government, knowing how they touted some bar, they will fight corruption. Do you think, say, even if you do baby, as I say you do as you expect, there are some gains in the fight against corruption?
It's difficult for me to say that there are some gains. Because you see, so far the MPP for Omo manifesto, 2016 Omo Babe, 2017. And so we need 2016. And I'm saying we need 2020. What's your 2016 manifesto? Any 2020 manifesto? What's the Omo manifesto now? Omo propose or manifesto, and Omo promise or manifesto name 12 different policies are be implemented in the fight against corruption. 12. Out of these 12, 7 years on,
okay.
Miensano, one includes the establishment of the special prosecutors.
And the other two?
The other two, I have to retrieve it.
Okay.
But out of Omo policy promises, 12 promises, question here, even Mienson my no crown.
How effective?
It tells you, say, Omo promises, they are not committed to it. Because you can't tell me, say, 3/12 means that you have passed.
Right.
They are not committed to it.
Right.
Secondly, even 3 in the crown, how effective is it? But you see, Pano Chano, you cannot go to equity with a sword hand. There's the government of the day, one reason in here or struggle to fight corruption. Because on one Kasano, as a president, the foundation of Nabain is built on corruption.
How?
The number one, the major decision our presidents take here was the appointment of the cabinet and all those things, ministers and the rest. Corruption, it is not just about exchanging of money.
Right.
One common example of corruption, not just in Ghana, but in Africa, is nepotism. Nepotism is a key example of corruption.
So your own people, family members.
Exactly. Are you getting it? Indeed, Makano so many times say, in this Fourth Republic, as far as nepotism is concerned, the most corrupt government is this current government.
Right. Now,
you cannot build a government which has a foundation of
corruption and think say
you can fight corruption.
You can't.
Right.
Now, at the end of the day, the reason why I want to mean chastise the appointees are engaging in corruption is because penny nankasa what and that is why, isn't it so strange? Anytime we are president, ever refer any purported act of corruption and corruption-related matters to the special prosecutor. Anytime you ever refer to it or conclude it, say, or would GD say at the end of the day, only parkuna
okay, I know of this other person, but minimum the other ones.
Check. Check. Will be exonerated. I mean, and
the
best starting case no cramp and what judge issue. And yet, and yet, who is the number one person Kissi Jabin owes allegiance to?
The president.
The president, the one who appointed him. Now, Samina me appointed now owe allegiance to me. Now me cast investigate ABC. Now, Crown San Abe investigation. My catcher say, "Mo say ABC no, ABC for no, they will be exonerated."
Oh, so I mean, Mr. Wilson there. Corruption there, I mean, as a politician, there's some possibility say to tarnish your image because you're a politician. So if you are my friend or you are my appointee, na minimum we've been political, I mean, colleagues for a while. I mean, someone said there, I should be boldly to say, oh, I deal with Mr. Wilson, many sure so bet me.
Only my recruiting at Assembly Court is difficult to discuss it outside the court. Because you don't prejudice.
Okay.
Are you getting it? It will be difficult for the judge. Maybe a summer better judge in not judge in our bond saying egg assembly. Crown sana yebe judge assembly. And that's exactly what the president is doing.
What your article be about this recent press? Then I'll pass on carbon for my and I say, what you say, you did a special prosecutor, only me as executive for no patch of bonnet for my. Then I'll pass out.
They may patch and say, the question is, this answer, judiciary, no, and Papa say, Omo Air Force Pretty, Kissi Jabin. And now a Kissi Jabin, any executive, no, and I'm about together, and we decided to almost throw dust into the eyes of the public. Where I sit, I think, say, the judiciary, as far as Kissi Jabin, any cases or the court is concerned, I think, say, Kissi Jabin doesn't have any legal ground to argue, say, judiciary,
Air Force.
I rather think, say, Kissi Jabin, and of course, he works with the executive. Into Kissi Jabin, the executive, no?
No, he doesn't work with the executive. It's an independent institution.
Oh, you still believe say independent?
No,
it is supposed to be independent. It is supposed to be independent because the act Nankasa even doesn't make him independent. It is supposed to be independent. It is very likely, say Kissi Jabin, and then the executive, they've decided say they will throw dust into the eyes of the people.
Yeah, accuse the judiciary.
So the sentiment, Charlie, now you beautiful. You will I to say what kind this police criminal Atai?
Atai, yeah. The famous Atai.
And Brad Atai Asembai. Opia energy Atai so. Me assure say cuz I dey obi crack catch and say Atai can control muku Jesus one ke because now the anger was there.
Right.
And that is exactly what is happening. The judiciary, the anger is there. People don't have trust in the judiciary. Into Kissi Jabin and the executive, what should we do? Yen refocus the focus of the people towards the judiciary. My fear is that just an orchestration, just like a theatric play, as a theater play, led by Kissi Jabin, and then the play is such that okay, at the end of the day, no. Say you pretend to say you fight corruption at the end of the day, but to just say you into me fight here. Ubia anger.
Ever call the judiciary so.
Yeah, Marky, because so many things I have said over the past years it has come to pass. Yeah, Marky, and now I no kasi. If things goes on the way it is going, Cecilia Dapa will be left to go free.
Ebusafo aha na edu besi e hot city so ora Emmanuel Wilson Jr. Chief Crusader the Crusaders Against Corruption omo ye ekuo bi a omo no mo de ne se baby akata se hye ne proye kankan wo ho no omo kasetia na eno ho komo na ye ne nu di e fa special prosecutor ono me ka so no ye chief corruption fighter na sentiment sembi odi abetu dwa no na chese o chese judiciary no judges ahodo a ewo oman Ghana mu na sebi omumboa emontimi enko corruption ewo oman Ghana mu aha na edi we be say that say oje bre na wo hwe Mamenda Mr. Ibi Kakariase ene Mr. Awotwiase omobo machi dom na mede dwumadie nso ede ebro mede di Akosua Asabea Asomaning dasane ebese hia ewo the hot city so 3 to 4 p.m. every Sunday ewo original TV all scanning with TV no nya original TV amepacho rescan your TV say do sha wo so original TV ene da so enka na ye din fofo but say de wo original TV ena ewo so ebese stream ama wo so ewo YouTube dasane da say oje bre na wo share yen cheers.
Original TV, Ghana ye dieni. Penisi, enye danta, nemum danta ni disikabano, uye jumaku, ankrankra, anas